Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that are shaping today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch our video podcast. Rate, review, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family, hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about my recent trip to Atlanta. Then I'm going to be talking about how I've kind of overcome my toxic masculinity. And then there's an interesting gym story. That's enough of the intro. Let's get to the show. Welcome back. We took a brief hiatus. I had people emailing me and saying, hey, man, where's the show? There wasn't a show on Friday. There wasn't a show on Tuesday. What's going on? I told you I was taking a little break. I was going down to Atlanta to go visit my sister for her 40th birthday party. And it was a really, really good time. You know, I got funny stories from my trip to Atlanta. So part of my anxiety, and if you guys are frequent listeners of the show, y'all know that I'm very open about my anxiety. Part of my anxiety when flying is getting to the airport 2 hours before I'm supposed to board. Not before the flight takes off, before I'm supposed to board. I don't care how smooth sailing check-in goes. No, I don't have TSA pre-check. No, I don't have clear. I won't get those. I'm just going to stick with the regular check-in because I never have a problem. There's never any long wait. But I know the one time I do decide not to go 2 hours early is going to be the time that I miss my flight. So, hey, I like to be there early, but everybody was joking on me about that. They're like, what are you going to do the whole time that you're sitting in the airport? Drink. That's what I'm going to do the whole time I'm sitting in the airport. There is nothing better to me than that airport drink. There's nothing better to me than that flight, the drink on the flight. I like drinking. Okay, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, this is no secret. I like drinking, and I like to have myself a little airport drink. Do I wish they were cheaper? Yes, I do. But I did find out on Southwest flights, the tequilas are extremely cheap, only $9. And for some of y'all living in, different areas, $9 for a tequila might seem kind of expensive to you. But routinely here in the DC area, a tequila drink is $15 and above. So if I can get a $9 drink on the flight, I'm going to jump at it because I damn sure was paying more than $9 a drink while I was at the bar waiting at the airport. But I have anxiety when flying, not the actual flying part of missing my flight. So I get there early and everybody was joking me about it, but I don't really care. I'm comfortable with it and it doesn't matter to them. What does me getting early to the airport have to do with anybody else? Unless you ride with me. And guess what? If you ride with me, we're going to have a good time because I didn't accidentally, but I definitely did get lit on the plane. So this was my whole process. My flight was at 3 something, right? So I was going to get there at 1. I was done with work well before 12. So I jumped in the shower, did a shave and everything like that. Got my finished packing because I didn't pack until that morning. And I had to pack 17 pairs of drawers, even though I'm only going there for 3 days, just because I might accidentally poop myself. I don't know why we pack so many pairs of drawers. We just do. And I'm not the only one who does it. But I decided to take a shot before I left my place. Now I'm taking the bus and the metro to the airport because I'm riding right out of DCA. It's not that far from my house. It's about 15, 20 minutes. And I did not feel like spending $20 on an Uber ride. Why? Because I knew that I was going to be spending $20+ on drinks at the airport. So I took the bus because the bus is free. I took the metro because that's only $2. I was there within 40 minutes, right? It doesn't take me that long. The only problem is that I took a shot before I left. And then I decided to take a roadie. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do y'all know what a roadie is? If you don't know, I'm going to explain it to you. A roadie is a drink that you take for the road. I'm often having a drink on the road because I'm never driving. So it's always in a Gatorade bottle or in a seltzer bottle that I got a little gimmick. A gimmick is tequila. So I put 2 shots in the bottle because I figured it might take me an hour, depending on when the buses run and when the metros run for me to get to the airport. So, 2 shots an hour, that's pretty reasonable for a guy that's 6'4", 240 pounds. Like that's not that big of a deal. The problem is I didn't forget, but it didn't dawn on me that I actually had a shot before I poured my roadie, and it only took me 40 minutes to get to the airport. So let's just say I'm not lit, but I'm definitely feeling it. But I get through the checkpoint, no problem. And I mean, I checked, the bag was easy to check. Get to the checkpoint. Now, Southwest is on a different part of DC-8. Friend of mine told me, hey, it's in a different terminal. It's like a mile and a half to get there. I said, man, what's a mile and a half to a player? I didn't say those words exactly, but I said, what's a mile and a half to me? Right? I walk miles every day when I go for my little daily walks. It's typically 3 miles a day. Ain't no big deal for me to walk to the other terminal if it's a mile away. He said, you're going to know you're heading in the right direction because you're going to see a museum. I said, excuse me, a museum in the airport? Sure enough, as I was walking to that terminal, because I had to get directions from somebody at the airport to get there, I did see a museum. And it did take a mile long walk, which was good because I kind of sobered up a little bit. So that was the long part of the check-in. Once I got to the terminal, it was check the bag, get through the security, boom, I'm on my way. And I decided to stop up at this bar and get a drink. Met a lovely couple. I will get into that in future episodes. But let's just say, spoiler alert, I met a nice couple that also does a podcast that had a very interesting topic. So we might be doing some collaboration. But so I was sitting there, noticed that they were doing stuff, working post-production for a podcast, and struck up a conversation. Had 2 drinks while I was at the airport bar, hopped on the plane, had another drink. So count that, ladies and gentlemen. That is 6 drinks between the time of noon to when I land in Atlanta, which is about 5. Yeah, I was feeling good. I was feeling real good. Not too bad, but feeling real good. And let me just tell you, I'm never flying a budget airline again, not unless there's no other option but that. First of all, I realize these budget airlines cost the same. Once you get through all the fees and everything, it costs the same. The difference is that when you go to a non-budget airline, you're paying the cost up front, as opposed to when you go to these budget airlines, you're paying it over time, sort of. I got free Wi-Fi on Southwest. Typically, if I fly these budget airlines, I got to pay for it, right? And even when you do pay for it, sometimes it doesn't work. This was free. And just like on my Delta flight, they gave me TV shows and movies to watch. Sat up there, watched 1.5 Law and Order, landed on my front, landed in Atlanta. It was easy. It was smooth sailing. And checked my bag, wasn't a problem. Didn't have to pay an extra fee because that was included. I'm never flying any of these budget airlines again. And now that I know, because I didn't know before that Southwest flies out of DCA, I am never flying out of BWI or Dulles, and once again, unless I absolutely have to. I'm about to text my bestie and be like, look, we need to look at these Southwest Airlines to New Orleans because this looks like this the airline, the place to be. Southwest, if y'all want a spokesman, you got it with me because that was a great flight. I love Southwest. When I landed, my sister came and picked me up, and me and my brother and sister just hung out. We just hung out, and I kept saying it all night long that we were hanging out. We weren't doing anything but just chilling in the house, just vibing. And it was literally the greatest time that I've ever had hanging out with my brother and sister. We didn't go anywhere. It was just the 3 of us, and y'all see the dynamic that me and my sister have on the show. That is literally us at every day. Anytime we get together, that's us. And my brother is that 3rd person that is just like us in that interaction. So imagine the sibling happy hour with a 3rd person that's even funnier than my sister is and I, because if you go in pecking order, my brother's the funniest, then it's my sister, then it's me. And it was just a vibe. I stayed up till 2:30 in the morning. That was also part of the problem this whole trip. 2:30 in the morning was the earliest that I went to bed in the 4 days that I was there. except for the last night because I had to get up in the morning and do some stuff for work. But look, and my cousins didn't hesitate to remind me too, because a lot of my cousins were there and they're younger than me. The closest cousin that I have, I'm 14 years, 13 years older than. So one of my cousins kept calling me the elder, you know, like you the elder, you're the one who's supposed to be taking charge. And so they kind of joked on me a little bit because I'm old and maybe I can't hang. And guess what? I can't hang with their little young selves. I want to be in bed at a reasonable hour. The night of my sister's party, which was a great party. I mean, that was just a fun night hanging out with my sister. We'll talk more about that during a sibling happy hour that comes out next week. But it was a vibe. But I told one of my cousins, I was like, look, this party starts at 6. People gonna get here at 8. By 1 o'clock, I plan on being in bed because I can't keep doing this 2:30 in the morning stuff. I had done it Thursday night and Friday night, and Saturday was the party. And I said, hey, I can't keep doing it. I'm ripping and running all over the place, running errands, trying to get ready for this party, doing manual labor, cleaning off decks, and my brother was really doing the manual labor, but I was helping out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I helped out a little bit, but it was just running all around. I'm trying to get my workouts in. I damn near died on my run on Saturday morning. I said to myself, I've got to get to bed by 1 o'clock. That did not happen. I got to bed at 3:30. The sun was almost up. I can't hang. I came back on Monday and I've just been exhausted all week. My whole week has been shot. If y'all are looking at me right now, I got bags under my eyes. I'm struggling. I can't do it like that. I'm 44 years old. I can't hang with these young whippersnappers no more. My sister can't hang. My sister's not feeling well right now from her party. We can't hang like that no more. And that's okay. I'll be the elder and do what I need to do. Now, here's the sad part. The sad part came when I had to come home on Monday. I didn't really make a big deal out of it, but I was at my sister's house and she was driving me and another one of my cousins, my cousin that lives right up the road from me, to the airport because our flights were relatively close to each other. And before like we were packing up, I was kind of stalling because they were joking on me once again because I wanted to get to the airport 2 hours before my flight boards. And, I kind of didn't want to leave. I did not want to leave. I had such a great time and it was so dope hanging out with all of my cousins, hanging out with both my brother and sister. Like I said, it was a fantastic trip. And I just knew what was waiting for me back in DC. And I'll get into that in just a second. But I was, I was feeling a little sad. What helped was I was kicking it with my cousin, you know, drinking. Once again, I was drinking. And then got on the plane and what did I watch? I watched something. I think I watched a documentary. I can't remember what I was watching, but I watched a documentary or something. Once again, Southwest, shout out to you. Had me a little tequila drink, had plenty of space. Had plenty of space. Nobody was sitting right next to me. Landed in DC, and immediately I just started like it was almost not a real depression, but it was almost that overwhelming, depressive type of feeling like I'm back in DC. And don't get me wrong, I love DC. DC is just this pressure cooker of everybody is so intense because everybody thinks that they're important and they're not. Not really. There's like what? Got 50 and then how many House of Representatives? Like 300 plus House of Representatives and then the vice president and the president, like those are people that's really, really important. You got some lobbyists, you got a mayor, you got a city council. Okay, those people are kind of important. You got some doctors because we got a lot of hospitals around here, but there's a lot of people who are staffers for a certain small Congress person and a flyover state that thinks they're the hot ish and they're really not. But everybody has a mentality here and everybody is just about what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And you know what I do? I mind my damn business. But anyway, so I wasn't looking forward to that. DC is this pressure cooker. I've been feeling it a lot lately because the election is coming. And no sooner do I get off of the plane, take the metro to the bus stop, as I'm getting off of the metro, getting ready to go catch the bus. This woman walks up to me and she asked me for spare change. And of course, I don't have no spare change on me because who's carrying cash or coin or anything like that? If she had a cash app, I probably could have gave her a little bit of money, but she didn't have that. I didn't ask. Maybe she did, but I didn't have any spare change. And I was wearing a Macho Man Randy Savage shirt. And she says, "Oh, Macho Man, that's a song that Trump plays at his rallies all the time." And I said, "No, this is Macho Man Randy Savage. This is a professional wrestler. He plays a song by the Village People called Macho Man, not the same thing. But thank you. I do love this shirt." And then she started talking about Kamala's a liar and she's locked up all the black people. Mind you, she was a person of color, Jamaican, Ethiopian, something like that. I couldn't really make out for sure. And I'm like, that's not true. That's not true because it isn't true. There's this rumor going around that Kamala Harris, as a prosecutor, put away all these black men for marijuana, and that's just absolutely not the case. And it doesn't take much of a Google search to disprove that rumor. But she was just like, she started yelling at me, not yelling at me, but yelling at me, and I'm walking away. And I was just like, see, this is what I'm talking about. I hate DC. I mean, I don't hate it, but I kind of hate it. I kind of hate it. All right, before we get into the next segment, when I start talking about my toxic masculinity or overcoming my toxic masculinity, and then third segment, this interesting gem story, I have to, before I get out of here, tell you guys what one of my friends told me. Now, this is a female dating a male. I'm a friend of the female. We're going to say the female's name is Samantha, and we're going to say the male's name is Sam. Okay. I have a friend named Sam. Let me change that name because Samantha and Sam is both the Sam. So we're going to say her name is Samantha, and we're going to say his name is Sean. So Samantha comes up to me and she was like, "Can I ask you a question?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's about Sean." Now, I hate talking to her about Sean because she's always coming to me for advice. I give her the advice and she doesn't ever listen to me, but okay. So I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure." She says, "Well, I know you used to be a cheater back in the day." And I say, "Wait a minute, hold up, damn it. Like, I don't even know where this is it's coming from. Yes, I used to be a cheater back in the day. I'm open about that, but like, don't be attacking me like this." And she was like, "No, no, no. I just know you know about being shisty." I said, "Once again, stop attacking me like this. Like, I'm okay. Or I know the point that you're getting at, but just phrasing here. Let's try and show a little bit of respect. I'm not that person anymore and haven't been for a long time." She said that Sean called her from the grocery store and told her a story that when he went to the grocery store, he got upset because nobody could help him find what he needed to find. And she was just like, it was a random story. I was like, oh, okay. When Sean got home, Samantha realized that found a receipt that Sean had, and it was from that grocery store. But that receipt from that grocery store was from a couple of days ago, right? And the story that he was telling was from a week ago. And as she's telling me the story, I say, "Yeah, okay." And she said, and I asked her, "Well, what was on the receipt?" And she said, like a lamb chop and some wine, right? And I said, "Okay, what was he talking about? What was he looking for when he told you that the person in Harris Theater couldn't help him with anything?" "Oh, Sean was looking for some cider." I said, "Okay, but I just don't understand why he lied." I don't think he lied to you. But no, he obviously lied because the receipt is from this time and he told me it was a week ago. Plus, also, could he just be making lamb chops for other women? And I was just like, "Samantha, okay, let's take a deep breath and let's break this down. He told you that last week he had a situation where he went to the grocery store looking for something and they couldn't help him. Yes. Okay. You found a receipt from a couple of days ago that was not what he was looking for, but from the same grocery store. Yes. So that obviously means that he was buying groceries to make dinner for somebody else. Okay, no, what that means is that he probably was in the grocery store and it reminded him of the last time that he was in the grocery store, and then he called you to tell you the story. Oh, that does make a lot of sense. Also, how many lamb chops were there? There was just one. Okay, so he's gonna make dinner for another woman with just one lamb chop. Well, it could have just been an appetizer, or maybe she had some lamb chops. I said, "This, you're being absolutely ridiculous about this." Odds are, he went to the grocery store. It reminded him the last time he was at the grocery store. He forgot to tell you the story, so he calls you while he's at the grocery store to tell you the story. Also, it don't make no sense. Not in either situation, wherever he was getting, was there enough for him to get for two people? Besides, y'all are always around each other. When is he going to have time to cook for another woman or do anything else? You're right. And the reason why I bring up this story is because this isn't an uncommon situation. A lot of people, based on their insecurities, draw up these own crazy ass scenarios in their head when logic just says there's an answer to it. And the logic was for her, she was crazy. You know what I mean? Samantha is crazy. Samantha was crazy. Like, that was an easy situation. Homeboy remembered the last time he was at the grocery store because he was currently at this grocery store. That's all that was. Oh, and this is the reason why I told Samantha I don't want to talk to her about her and Sean because she's crazy and I don't want to hear about it. I have too many female friends that tell me their scenarios and life stories, and oh my God, it just be crazy. But you know what? I'll be real honest with y'all. This is something that I haven't really even told anybody. I used to have a female friend that I had known since I was 23 years old. We dated when we were younger, and we really liked each other, but we ended up marrying other people. And that was cool. We ended up getting divorced as well, but we always maintained a friendship because we always had a legitimate friendship to one another. And I have anxious attachment that I've been getting over or been working through over the last 4 or 5 years. I have anxious attachment. And if you know anything about anxious attachment, when people start to pull away, I start to draw closer. And this is only in romantic relationships. In any other type of relationship, I have what one of my therapists at one time called emotional cutoff. And my uncle used to call me the sniper because I just cut people loose. From the many stories that I've told you guys, and from one of the stories that you're going to hear next, I cut people loose. But anyway, when it comes to dating, I tend to hold on a lot longer than I should actually. And she legitimately got tired of me telling her about my dating scenarios, and 15 years of friendship, she just ghosted and stopped being my friend. The last thing she said to me was, "Did you get a therapist yet?" And I was like, "No, not yet. I haven't found the right one. Get a therapist." That was the last thing she said to me. I did. And I worked through my situations. But since she decided not to talk to me anymore, I'm not going to talk to her no more. Emotional cutoff. And speaking of emotional cutoff, that's going to lead me to the next story that I'll get into next. I'm not done promoting my Patreon page. There's a reason why I've been promoting the hell out of it. Y'all should really, really check it out. Once again, it's $5 a month for Talking Straight Ish. That's my show. It's $5 a month for After Hours Uncensored. That's a show with me and my sister. It's $9 a month for both shows. You can go on the website, gives you a direct link, sign up for it. It's all set. This is an episode. This is a clip. This is a section of an episode of Talking Straight Ish, my show. This was released on March 4th of 2004. And this is me talking about my toxic masculinity and growth and evolution. I just want to give you guys a heads up. This is the Patreon page, so parental discretion is advised. I've cut out some of the cussing, but some of the cussing I left in because it hammers home the point. That's all I can say. So without further ado, here you go. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Talking Straight Ish. That's talking straight shit with me, Bruce Anthony, your host here to lead you in the conversation, important events, and the topics about my life. That's what Talking Straight Ish Uncensored is about. It's about my life. And what am I going to dig into today? Well, I've had this, I don't know, it's kind of this introspective thing recently where okay, let's start from the beginning. It started with the song Darling Nikki from Prince. And if you don't know or have never heard of the song, stop this recording right now and go listen to the song. And in the context of this conversation, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So hopefully you stopped and went to listen to the song and you can follow along with the context of this conversation that I'm about to enter in now. And I'm going to go all over the place. It starts with Little Nicky and it goes into some other stuff about setting boundaries. But I had to realize, I don't know, probably in my 30s, how much of a misogynist I really was. How much of a misogynist was I? In college, I had a whole equation, a legitimate mathematical equation to determine if a woman was a hoe or not. That's how misogynistic and stupid I was. And here's the crazy thing. This equation in 1999 and 2000 and 2001 spread not only from the University of Maryland campus, but also to American University, GW University, Georgetown, Howard, and George Mason. Oh, and Towson. This equation actually spread. And it was a talking point. Some women were like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm not a hoe," and other women were like, "I don't like this equation." And I understand now the hypocrisy of it because if I use that whole equation to determine if I was a hoe or not during that time, I was definitely a bona fide 100% whore. Like there's no conversation about it. And somewhere along the line, probably in my 30s, I stopped looking at women as this pristine thing okay, let me go into this. So, I used to date women and I used to have girlfriends that I would be like, "Look, you're this pristine, beautiful princess. I can't do the things that I do with you that I do with other women." And I would do I was a cheater. So I would do things with other women that I wouldn't do with them. Sorry, mom. I know this is not really a conversation you want to be hearing about, but this is Unsolicited Perspectives, and this is just talking straight ish. So this is just being real. And I don't know where that idea came from of the woman that you're with, you're supposed to treat as this angelic creature, and women on the street, you're supposed to treat a certain way. I don't know where this came from. This was not something that I learned from the men in my family. This wasn't something that was preached. It's probably societal learning. But, yeah, so that's how I used to treat women, and it wasn't until my 30s where I was just like, "No, why wouldn't I want a partner that's everything that I want? Why would I subject myself to something that wasn't what I wanted purely because of this idea of what a wife or girlfriend is supposed to be?" And that didn't happen till my 30s, but definitely in my 20s, I was a misogynist. My late teens, early 20s, misogynist. And if you listen to the song Darling Nikki, the woman that he's describing is absolutely a woman that I would be involved with. It's just that she would be treated differently depending on what age of Bruce she got. In the late teens, early 20s, Bruce, she's going to be treated like a piece of meat. In the 30s, Bruce, she's not going to be treated like a piece of meat. She's going to be treated with respect. But odds are I'm not going to want to date her seriously. Definitely the early 30s. By the late 30s, that changed. In my 40s, I'm like, look, we here. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do. Cool. Like I'm into that. So come on over here. Let's hang out. And it's funny. I wish I could go back and talk to my younger self sometimes, and my younger self wouldn't listen. My younger self would call me soft and weak because it's that toxic masculinity saying that this is the way that you need to be and this is the way that you're supposed to be. And you learn with age that those toxic masculinity traits just hopefully you learn with age. I have some friends who haven't, but luckily, thankfully, really important women in my life, past tense and present tense, have shaped me. And I always hear my grandmother's voice. It's so funny. In my older age, my grandmother passed 12 years ago, and she was very, very important to me. And I didn't really get an opportunity to truly mourn her because nobody around me knew, but I was going through a divorce. Just nobody knew. And the person I was divorcing wasn't there for me. But I always knew that she couldn't be there for me through times of strife for me individually. She just didn't have that capability. And I knew that beforehand. It didn't make things easier that I was going through the breakup of my marriage and losing somebody that was very, very important to me. And so I didn't really mourn her like I really wanted to because I was just my world was crazy at that particular point. So it came later and it hit later really hard. But through time, and I know she knows, but I wish I could have told her how much her words resonated with me still, because she was always this little voice. And mind you, my grandmother was a teeny tiny person, teeny tiny and powerful person at that. She was a force of nature. But I always hear her voice of how a man is supposed to treat a woman. Her voice got drowned out as I was growing up with my friends and other men that were telling me this is the way you're supposed to act. And it's funny, in my mid 30s, late 30s, and now into my 40s, her voice is finally ringing through all the noise. Part of that is that shield that I had, that toxic masculinity shield has shredded, and her voice is able to penetrate. But it was always there. It was always there. And she taught me from a very young age how a man is truly, truly supposed to be. And the 20-year-old Bruce and the 30-year-old Bruce, early 30s, I would love to go back and talk to them and just say to them, hey, grandma gave you the key. She told you how it's supposed to be. Sometimes you're going to treat women very, very kindly, very nicely, with respect. All women should be treated that way. Just sometimes things just don't work out. And just because you treated a woman a certain way and it didn't work out the way you wanted doesn't mean that you stop treating women that way. That's what I would love to go back and tell them, like, grandma gave you the key. She gave you the key. So I'm listening to Darling Nikki and I'm just listening to the words. And it's a song first of all, it's from the Purple Rain album. I believe it's from the Purple Rain album. It is, which is my favorite Prince album. And so I've always been a fan, and I've always been a fan of Darling Nikki. And it's just the meaning of it and how I respond to it has just changed through the years. And I'm very grateful that I'm maturing. I wish that I had matured a little bit earlier, you know. I probably wouldn't have made some personal mistakes that I made, but that's also part of life and growing up, right? Like, I needed to make those mistakes to learn from those lessons in order to be the person that I am now. So, in ways, I'm extremely grateful, but in a lot of ways, I was like, man, did that really have to go down the way it did? But it did. It did, so that I could learn and grow. But like I said, this episode was not solely about maturity. The theme of it is maturity, but I'm going to move on from the idea of getting out of my toxic masculinity and growing into the man that still I'm growing into, but a man that I'm much prouder of being now than I was in my 20s if I look back. But once again, it's a growth process. But just talking about boundaries, and that's something that has I've really been doing a lot of this year. Has been really, really setting boundaries. One, because I'm busy. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a full-time job. And then I have this, which is a full-time job. I'm not complaining. I did this. I want this. I enjoy doing this. Is it tough sometimes to come up with content, to come up with shows? Yep, it is. It is. It's tough to come up with stuff that you're not repeatedly going over the same topics over and over again, and you fall a victim to that sometimes. But there's also real enjoyment. I really love getting on this mic and talking. Like I said a couple episodes back, this is cathartic for me to just speak my truth and the things that I think about often, the things that really matter to me. Yeah, so I don't regret this. Maybe probably wouldn't have been so ambitious as to do 4 shows a week, but but that's okay. We're here now. But I've been setting boundaries because I don't have the amount of time that I used to have. I just don't. And some people have been understanding, some people have not been understanding. I always go off of those people that really rock with me, those people that say they're my friends. They know that I'm doing this venture. How much are you supporting me in this venture? Right? For those people who never ask me about it or never bring it up, I have to question, like, do you really care for me? And I know that's weird in a standpoint of you're asking them to ask you about yourself. But if people know, the people that are closest to me know that I'm extremely private. I know that's mad crazy for a lot of you people to listen to. It's like, Bruce, you got a podcast, you're always talking. But I'm extremely private. Those people that are really, really close to me will tell you, I don't know what's going on in Bruce's personal life. There were people that still still don't know that that crypto passed, and that was like 6 months ago, right? And that wouldn't know. There are people that wouldn't know if other people didn't tell them because that's something that I'm just not going to talk about. I've dated women and broken up with women, and some people haven't even known about that entire process. Close to me, people that are close to me haven't even known about that entire process. I'm just extremely, extremely private. So if I decide to share something that's important and you know that it's important to me and you don't ever ask me about it, because I'm asking you about your important stuff. If you're my friend, I'm asking you about your important stuff. I'm asking you about what's going on. If you're never asking me about my stuff, then like, do you really care about me? And so I'll give you an example. And maybe I've talked about this before, maybe I haven't. I don't know. I can't remember. But I had a friend. She used to live in my building. She had a dog, I had a dog. It just so happens that a lot of times when we were walking the dogs, we would run into each other and just start chit-chatting, and she was like, "Hey, we should hang out sometime." She would take care of my dog, I would take care of her dog. My dog dies, and she notices that I'm being distant, so she's like, "Hey, how you doing? Notice that you haven't hit me up in a while. Is everything okay?" And I tell her, I was like, "Hey, crypto passed away, blah, blah, blah. I'm really sorry to hear that. Let me know if you need anything." And then I never hear from her again. This is somebody that actually took care of my dog. This is somebody who's seen me not daily, but a couple of days a week with my dog and has seen me in interaction with my dog. And you didn't think enough to just check in on me. I had somebody who I dated and we broke up, and it was a bad breakup. But we had just been chit-chatting through DM on Instagram, and we were planning on get together, having a drink to catch up. Because despite how we broke up, we were always cool. You know what I'm saying? Always somebody that I could have endless conversations with because I liked the way her brain worked. That's part of the reasons why I was really attracted to her, because she was really intelligent. And like, I had to tell her the day of that I had to put him down. I had to tell her, like, hey, I know we said we was gonna get together this week. I don't know. Crypto isn't doing too well right now. I don't know what my week is going to be like. And I just want to let you know, I normally wouldn't say anything, but I just want to let you know so you know I'm not blowing you off. She was like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. And then she hit me up later on that day and it was like, I was busy at work and I couldn't contextualize everything that you're going through. But like, if you need me, I'll drop everything. I'm right there. This is somebody like, it was a bad breakup. And she was like, if you need me, you need anything, I'll drop whatever I need to do. I'll be right there for you. Because I had told her, and then I said, that's, it's funny. It's crazy because I literally just had to put him down. I'll be okay. But, thank you. I really appreciate that. And she checked in. This was somebody that I dated, and it was a bad breakup. And we were cool, not cool as in trying to work things out or anything, just like in no matter what, we would have been really good. We would have been great friends. And it was just like, hey, let's just grab a drink and catch up. And she was there. But I have a person that I see 2, 3 times a week, from walking, that's actually taking care of him and then never contacted me. Yeah, that kind of blew me. So what I decided to do was I was like, this isn't really a person that I would rock with. Let me create some distance. And in the process of creating that distance, I found relief. This is a crazy thing. I found relief in the distances that I'm creating because there was something about those relationships, and I'm talking about this one in particular, but more so of all these relationships that I've ended this year. All the relationships that I've ended this year, and these were all friends. These weren't people that I were dating or anything like that. These were just all friends. But all the relationships that I've ended this year, I put this boundary up where it's like they're siphoning off a lot of my energy and a lot of my positive energy. And the only thing I'm getting really back from you is negative energy. You're not a negative person, but it's negative energy that I'm getting back, which is disturbing my peace. And I didn't realize that until I created those boundaries and broke those connections with those people. And I'm so much more free. Like there's a peace and a calm that's over me almost every day of my life now because there's been 3 people this year that I've cut off, but there's been other people that I've just decided to create these boundaries with, and I'm going to deal with them on a certain way, and that's the way I'm going to deal with them. And it's I've been at so much peace creating these boundaries that I think that are important in life, to just create these boundaries. I hate to keep repeating that word, but just to create these boundaries that you didn't realize that you needed to create. And when you create them, you'll feel this huge weight off of your shoulders because you didn't know at that particular time, you didn't know beforehand that those relationships were siphoning off your energy and just throwing you in flux. And you know it. As I'm describing it to you now, you have relationships, you get text messages from people or phone calls from people that are your friends, your family, loved ones, what have you. And there's this feeling that comes over you that's just not good. And so I've been cutting these ties. There's a peace that comes over you when you set these boundaries. And God, I wish I had done it so much sooner in my life, setting boundaries. They're tough to do because you set a certain standard of yourself and how you interact with people, and people expect that. And then to say to them, hey, look, that person that you knew, that person that would respond to certain situations, that person that would react to certain situations, you're not gonna get that person anymore. You can't get that person anymore because you are draining that person. That person can't handle it anymore. So we need to create a boundary. And these are the things we can and cannot discuss. And these are the ways that we can and cannot interact. I hope that you understand. I hope you can agree to that. If you cannot, I understand that we can no longer be in each other's lives, because I'm telling you, without this boundary, you are killing me a little bit every day. And not, not to be dramatic, it's not like they're poisoning me every day, but in a way they are, right? In a way they are poisoning your mind, and your spirit, which leads to the body being poisoned because of stress and anxiety of having to deal with it. I know this was a long way of going back to Darling Nikki, but as I was listening to that song last night, I was reflecting over the last 25 years of my life, and just the difference, the different Bruces that have evolved, let's say every 5 years, right? Because there was an evolution every 5 years. There was an awakening of some sort every 5 years. And I'm happy with, like, I like me. I'm happy with who I am right now. That's There were always questions of if I was really truly happy with myself. And the reason why is because I always knew deep down inside some of the things I was doing was some dirtbag bullshit, and that you couldn't be a good person and do the things that I did. And all I ever want to be is a good person. So when people ask me, are you a good person? I say, trying to be. I will never give myself the label. Other people will say that. And I will always say, I'm trying to be. That's each day. I'm just trying to be better than the next. But the growth over the last 25 years, I'm really proud of. I'm really happy that I am the man that I am today. I'm happy that I'm still consistently growing, because here I am, about to turn 44. And finally, after 43 years, setting boundaries. And I couldn't be more at peace with the decisions that I've made, because they're not haphazard decisions. They're not jerk and knee reaction decisions. These are well thought out, well calculated decisions that I've made in my life. And yeah, I'm at real peace. Do I need to create more boundaries? I do. Like I said, I'm not at total peace. And I don't know if you can ever really truly be at total peace, because there's always going to be a disturbance. But there are some situations where it's just like, okay, this is a drain. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm actually dreading it. I need to have a conversation with this person. Either things are going to change, or I need to cut this person out of my life. And I'm just really grateful that I'm finally at that point of making sure that I'm not pleasing everybody to sacrifice myself, that I'm trying to be the best person that I can, but I'm being the best person that I can to myself. And this long-winded point I'm trying to make is this: be a friend to yourself. You'll feel so much better and so much happier in the long run. So that was my growth. I'm still growing, still trying to improve, still trying to better myself. That never changes. This next clip is another Talking Straight ish clip of a show that was released on March 16th, 2023. So these two clips are a year apart. These aren't the entire shows, these are clips from those particular shows. And I tell a really interesting story about what happened with me when I was at the gym. And all I can say is, I don't want to be a TikTok creeper. That's all I want to be is not be a TikTok creeper. Welcome. Welcome to Talking Straight Ish. That shit with Bruce Anthony. And I'm not gonna go on a rant, but it's gonna be kind of like a rumble about something that happened to me at the gym today. And I think overall, it's something I want to talk about on the main show. I want to get with a fitness professional. Yes, I am a fitness professional. Let me rephrase that. I want to get with a female that's a fitness professional that isn't really connected to me. I think I have an idea who I want to interview. I just need to reach out to them. But so I'm in the gym today and I'm working out. And I'm hitting hard today. I'm hitting shoulders and trap. And that's one thing about me. When I'm hitting upper body in the gym, I get that muscle pump. Shit look good. I ain't gonna lie. I be looking in the mirror and I be like, damn, who are you? Adonis Creed? Who are you? Michael B. Jordan with no hair? Nevertheless, so I'm in the gym today and I'm working out. I'm sitting at a bench and a personal trainer that I know in there. I don't know them, but like they've been the same personal trainer for as long as I've been going to that gym. And or at least for the last 5 or 6 years. Like I know who they are. I just don't know them personally. Very attractive female. Very attractive. Like if my bestie saw her, and I know my bestie is watching this episode. If you saw her, you'd be like, that's absolutely your type. But I know never to cross the line in the gym because I've done it before. And this particular gym that I'm going to, I've done it at this particular gym because I've been going to this particular gym off and on since 2010. I messed with somebody back in the day at that gym and things didn't work out, you know, uh, you know, and I could never go back. I couldn't go back to that gym for a while. When I mean a while, I mean like 3 years. It's a long time, right? So I'm not going to shit where I work out. I like that gym. I don't feel like switching gyms. It's right across the street from my place. I'm not leaving that gym. So I'm not gonna mess with this young lady. But anyway, we wave to each other. We wave to each other, say hi to each other every time that we see each other, and it's just about every day. And she was training somebody, and she comes up to me and she was like, "Hey, do you mind if we train right here?" I'm like, "No, no, of course, go ahead." And right here is literally right behind the bench that I'm working out at. Do they have other places that they can work out? Yeah. I don't know why they chose this one particular spot. The ego in me said she wanted to be up close because she saw I was getting it in and them shoulders and traps was looking fantastic. That's the ego. Realistically, they were just trying to find space, and that was the best available space to the equipment that they needed to use, which was just dumbbells. So I think I'm disproving my own point because they could use it anyway. Anyway, said it wasn't going to be go off on a tangent. It was going to be a rumble. So they're working out. And once again, this personal trainer is absolutely my type. And when I say my type, she got that cow. It means her body is crazy. She got on tights. I'm not trying to be one of them TikTok dudes, right? I'm not trying to get caught looking at women. While I'm in the gym anyway, I'm very, very respectful of women in general. Like I don't go up there and critique them and their exercises unless they're about to hurt themselves. I don't sit there and try and spit game at any of the women because once again, I'm not trying to ruin where I worked out because ultimately things are not going to work out, right? So I don't want to ruin the gym that I love. And there's always this negative connotation with guys in the gym and creepiness, and there's a TikTok epidemic, trend epidemic, where these women are calling out these guys. Sometimes the guys are being creepy, sometimes the guys aren't being creepy. That's kind of what I want to talk to about a fitness professional that's a female that I don't know that's working in the gym. But I'm not trying to get caught looking at her. So I'm steadily in my phone during my breaks, or I'm looking down, or I'm directly in front of a mirror so I can see behind me and I can see them working out. At the same time, there's this woman that comes over and works out to the left of me. Could she have chose a different spot? Yes, she could have, but she's coming to work out to the left of me, and she got that cow. Like she looked better than the train. Well, she has one asset that looks better than the trainer, and I mean, it's a hell of an asset. So she's working out. So I got it behind me. I got it on the left of me. All I can do is look at the right of me, which is a dude, or in front of me and down, or at my phone. So I'm trapped because I'm not moving from my area because it's hard as hell to get a bench in there. And I'm using the bench for 40 minutes, right? Because it's all stationary, sitting down, shoulder presses, and I'm tired, right? My shoulders are screaming. So I got this girl over here with the huge assets. I got this girl behind me with a number of nice assets, and I'm trying not to look at them. In the middle of all that, the trainer walks up to the girl on my left with the huge assets. Her name is Huge Assets. The trainer walks up to the girl with the huge assets. Of course, they're wearing tights, and of course, they're wearing tights that are riding up their ass. Did I catch some glances? Absolutely, I caught some glances. What do you think this is? You think I wasn't gonna catch no glances? I caught glances, but I was stealth with my glances. You gotta be quick. You gotta be quick. I'm James Bond at catching looks in the gym. You ain't gonna catch me, right? So I peep that both of their types are riding up their ass. You know how the girls like to do, to ride up the crack of their ass. So the trainer walks up to the girl with the huge assets, and she starts complimenting him on her ass. And they're looking at it and they're kind of touching each other and they're doing stuff in the mirror. I shit you not. I'm thinking to myself, this has got to be a damn setup. This has got to be a setup. There's a camera around here somewhere. Somebody's going to catch me, glimpse it. And I'm trying not to. I'm peeping it out the corner of my eye, but I'm not turning my head to look at him. What I should have done is just absolutely bring attention to him. Like, hey, y'all trying to get me on this TikToks? Like, y'all ain't gonna catch me. And like, go ahead with yourself. And like, go ahead and do it someplace else. It ain't got to be right here with me. They finish. They eventually leave. I finish my workout. But there's so many things that I want to talk about that. Like one, I often find I often see women look at themselves in the mirror. Hell, I look at myself in the mirror. I'm not blaming anybody for that. Like, you go to work out. Look, I will be honest. Yes, I'm a fitness professional. I do not work out at the gym to be healthy. That's a byproduct of it. I work out at the gym to look good. That's the reason why. It's the aesthetics, right? So I'm checking myself out to make sure to see if I look good. And right now, I'm in my cut phase because it was at the winter time. And, I had to wear tight clothing or less clothing or shorts and t-shirts. It's about to get into that weather time. So I'm starting to tighten things up. But I understand women looking at themselves. I understand people looking at themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. And you know what, ladies? There's nothing wrong with you wearing those tights. Do you, boo boo? I heard they're very comfortable. I often, because I have a fat ass, I often have a wedgie in the gym, but it's by accident. It's just because my tights are riding on my ass. It's very uncomfortable for me. And I notice it when I get up that I have a wedgie. And it's like I kind of shake my legs a little bit to shake the wedgie out because I don't want to pick at the wedgie. And it's not cool with me. But I get it. Like, they say it's comfortable. Okay. You ain't got to tell me. If it's comfortable for you, if you like it, I love it. That's all I got to say. And I do love it because I love the aesthetics of it. It makes women that don't have nice assets make it look like they got nice assets. And look, I'm all for it. I have a issue with this TikTok trend. And are there some guys that's creepy? Absolutely. There's an older guy. I say older than me, that goes to the gym with me. And like, of course I look at women when I'm at the gym. Like, I look at women. Like, if you're attractive, I'm gonna look at you. If you got a nice body, I'm gonna look at you. That is what it is. I don't leer. That's kind of creepy. But this guy, like, there was a young lady working out, and she is very attractive. Like, top to bottom, she's even cute. She's very sweet. She's a very nice person. I've said hello in passing to her. She's just very nice. And he's Like, I see her working out down there, and I'm not gonna stare at her because I see her in here all the time. She's about getting that workout on. And yeah, she probably knows how good she looks, and she probably I likes the aesthetics of it, and she probably wants attention from people that she wants attention from. I'm thinking that this person that is leering at her, the guy that I know that's older than me, is not one of those people that she wants attention from. But I'm also learning that sometimes what women want is different. I mean, he's not a bad looking guy. He's aged really well for himself. He's just a little creepy. He wants to hang out with me, and I'm like, I don't really want to hang out with you. Like, oh, what the hell are we going to talk about? Like, we got nothing in common except for this girl who we both agree is attractive. But he comes up to me and he's like, man, she bad as hell. And he's kind of loud. And it's like, bro, if you want to talk to her, if you want to get her attention, just go up and talk to her. Like, you got a lot to kick it. Just go and talk to her, right? Like, don't make things weird. I understand females calling out males that are doing that. Like, I know when I'm getting stared at the gym, it is very uncomfortable. It is very uncomfortable. That is a small percentage of the time that I'm getting leered at compared to any woman anywhere, right? I'm not saying I have understanding. Maybe a small fraction of it. What I do have is absolute empathy because I know when I'm getting stared at by even by somebody that I don't mind getting stared at, it's uncomfortable, right? Like it's uncomfortable. And yeah, women are wearing those tights, but if they're comfortable in it, that's not a reason for a guy to leer. Like he can't use that as an excuse. She's wearing those tights. She want me to look. No, motherfucker. She's just wearing them because they're comfortable. And maybe she wants you to look. Maybe she doesn't want you to look. You ain't got to be creepy about it. Right. So I am not against calling those guys out at all. Some of these TikToks, though, guys are not doing that. Guys are looking around because it's the gym and you just kind of look around and what the fuck are you supposed to do when in between your sets? Right? In your rest periods, what are you supposed to do? I bury my head in my phone. And here's what's funny. I bury my head in my phone. And at my gym, they have an Instagram account. And their Instagram account posts all the lives that people like mark their location as the gym on their Instagram account. I've seen reels and photos with me in the background with me either pushing through a workout or with me with my head in the phone, right? So this thing that I'm talking about where I was nervous of getting caught looking at these two women with these assets right near me is a possibility, is a strong possibility because people are taking pictures of themselves. I do not go to the influencer gym. I will never go there because I don't go to work out to be seen. I work out so that I can be seen. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't go to the gym to be seen. I work out for the results to later be seen. So yeah, no, that scares me. And I thought I was gonna get hit up for the okie doke. And I pulled the trainer's card out as I was leaving. I was like, y'all was trying to get me for the okie doke. Like, what was that shit going on? She was like, there was no cameras around. I'm like, come on now. Come on now. And then she was like, I don't mind that people look. I was like, well, okay, that's good. You know, some women out there, they do mind. And I get it. I get it. Because once again, just that small fraction of percentage of time that I've had people stare at me, it's not cool. What is also not cool is being called out for shit on TikTok. I'm not talking about me personally because that hasn't happened to me. But what's not cool personally, not personally, not personally, but personally to me, what's not cool is being called out looking at people who are attractive or you think are attractive. Or you're not even looking at them and people are making it believe that you are. So, what's the point I'm trying to make? Going to the gym almost sucks sometimes, but the results feel great. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going to the gym. Plus, like I said, I'm the James Bond of this stuff looking. I'm gonna keep looking. And hopefully I'll never get caught on TikTok. Once again, you can join our Patreon page at patreon.com/unsolicited perspectives. There's a link on our website at unsolicitedperspectives.com. Once again, you can get Talking Straight-ish for $5 a month. You can get After Hours Uncensored for $5 a month. You can get both shows for $9 a month. We're going to start to do some live streaming once we have more people signed up and subscribed for that. But yeah, that's our Patreon. And like I said, it's uncensored. And you know, you gotta just check it out. Even if you just sign up for a month, we got a lot of shows on there, so check them out. But like always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, I'll holla. That was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching it to it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock with will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, well, I don't have a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcast. But the real party is on our Patreon page, After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspective.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you're really feeling genuine and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciative. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace.